Chapter 20, Interlude. O. As the horn sounded, Obbs descended past the edge of the reef, and the sea floor sloped down into a gloomy twilight that could not sustain the coral. A leather satchel tied to his waist shifted as the water flowed around it. An observer would be surprised to see the sandy ocean floor flatten out into a sheet of gray stone tiles, upon which rested two stone chairs facing each other about 20 feet apart. One of the chairs was huge. It looked built for a giant, the other human-sized. The chairs were artifacts from an age long gone. Those seated would have their thoughts transmitted, but only truth. At the halfway point, but offset so it would not obscure those seated from seeing each other, was a marble statue of a robed man holding a book open with both hands. He seemed to be looking out over the top of his book as though someone was interrupting his reading, but his face wore a soft smile. Obbs effortlessly glided over to the closer, smaller chair and sat. Past the larger chair in front of him, the stone floor dropped away. Obbs knew the bottom was thousands of feet down. While the area above was gloomy twilight, the area below was pitch black. They were already here in the black, but they would make him wait. He glanced at the statue. It was impossible to look at him and not surface memories from back then. Back when he was free, or at least had believed he was, when he had not yet accepted his role. Negan never accepted his, but that was a choice he was allowed to make, Hobbs thought. How much easier this would be were you still here. He felt the water around him shifting first, as something large approached. Finally, Hobbs thought. Two giant tentacles reached up over the ledge behind the chair and pushed, bringing a grotesque being into view. If Ina and even the Anguisse had resembled humans in some way, this being's human influence was only a memory. It had two vaguely human-shaped legs, but they hung down useless and limp as it used its giant tentacles to walk towards the chair. A rubber bald head, a face covered with thick, rubbery skin, and a nose that had been replaced by a single small opening in its face. Below the nose, a group of smaller tentacles hung down like a small curtain, obscuring the area where its mouth should have been. These hung down to an enormous oval-shaped torso that served as an anchor point for the mass of tentacles, two of which he rested on the arms of the chair. The most disturbing thing of all were the eyes. They were milky and white and unmoving. The Arkuth Naga sat down. Where is Nolathun? Obbs thought. His watch was ended 3 cycles ago. The words thundered directly into his mind. You never supported the Covenant. Now you can finally do things your way. Is that why the Naga are committing violence within my domain? Hobbs. I have since learned things were not as simple as they appeared. I did not send them. You know this. You seek pretext for a negotiation. True. I seek safe passage for a group of humans across the Naga domains. Humans? Those who murder us by thousands? Who hunt the Coriacea for greed? Someday We will no longer be able to hold back the abyss, and that day will be the humans, will be the one the humans will reap what they've sown. A pause. Sparing a few minnows is not enough. These humans were brought here from above, the god of this world. They just want to live here, leave the area peacefully. They know nothing of this world's conflicts. Perhaps the god of this world brought them here so we could punish them. Is that why you have brought an army with you to this place? Negan would be disappointed. 10,000 things in the dark bristled. You have maimed a prince of the first. The exile has violated their sentence. The exile has assisted our enemy. You prevent the return of a Tide armament. The prince committed violence and theft in my domain and led others to do the same. These humans are not your enemy. The exile did violate her sentence. The Tide Sword was bequeathed to me by Nolathune himself. A pause. Explain the Tide armament. It was given to seal our covenant after I created the lightless reef. Absoloth's milk-white eyes briefly widened, and the 10,000 things in the dark shifted. Pause. The prince has erred. The halls of Nagara have indeed failed him. Nagara's ignorance will be rectified. If we commute the exile's transgressions, will you commute ours? Yes. The exile has also declared a blood oath to slay their procreator. Will the Naga respect her hunt? Is she of age? Yes. It will not cleanse her blood, but the Naga will not interfere while she remains committed. If she succeeds, we will allow her passage to the halls of honor to prove the deed. Hobbs nodded. The final matter. Safe passage for the otherworld humans. What do you offer? Do you have any needs? Another pause. The 10,000 shifted again in the deep. The Coriacea have declined. The abyssal incursions have lengthened. We have entered a pattern of waning. Their pause. Would you commit to the abyssal containment? I cannot. If they break through, your island will not be safe. My presence would be noticed by beings more powerful than I. If they are given pretense, your people would be slaughtered. What then do you offer? Hobbs opened the satchel at his waist and pulled out a book that was bound in leather. It gave a soft glow in the darkness. The pages refused to absorb any of the moisture from the ocean water. Do any among the Naga still comprehend the ancient script? Yes. This is Negan's first journal. If you grant the otherworldly human safe passage, I will give it to you. 10,000 in the deep quivered. Ow! I knew him when he walked this world. We accept. No Naga will hurt the otherworldly humans as long as they commit no acts against us. Agreed. Obbs opened his hand and the journal started to float over to Absaloth. There are many dangers in these waters. We will not protect them. Noted. Tentacle reached out for the book and carefully, as though handling a baby, wrapped around it and gently pulled it in. Then Absaloth started to rise, and huge tentacles pulled him toward the edge. Absaloth. Absaloth paused. You wear the mantle well. Absaloth looked back and met Obb's gaze with his milk-white eyes, then turned and dropped down into the darkness.